in their scrum, but
absolutely.
Right now they're struggling at the moment.
And blood replacement, I believe, number 10, Lucy Carr, has just come back on, of course, swapping with her opposite partner, number 18, was that, Amy Baker?
Yes.
Now UOL have taken possession away.
DMU have turned it over in the breakdown. Excellent turnover right there.
Absolutely. Now, not sure what on earth that was, as of course they have turned over again. So number 13 for UOL, Kim Noble has just taken possession.
That's disappointing from DMU. You've just got the turnover ball, trying to break the gain line, and a sloppy loose pass like that has just handed it straight back.
Absolutely. Again, we're seeing UOL making a lot of yards through their running, almost battling their way through the DMU line.
You see they're targeting forwards onto the backs, making sure that the matchups are out of place. Yeah, see, right, looking right here, you've got the loose head prop charging at the centre, but DMU have turned it over, breaking through the middle.
That's number 7.
Run through.
Number 7, Honodan's incredible run there from Honodan's of DMU. DMU still retain possession, and again they look to be moving more towards that run game rather than the throw pass game that we were seeing before.
Absolutely, they've taken into account that the weather is not on their side, and they need to play to the conditions. And they seem to be doing well right now, playing a few phases, constantly going over that gain line and benefiting from a static Leicester defence.
Absolutely. Now, what do you make of this Leicester defence, Ryan?
It's quite static, to be fair, like Ted said. But DMU are kind of playing into their hands as well by not going wide, which is quite obvious now, whereas DMU have not played the full pitch. They're just playing between the 15s, which is making narrow play, which is kind of playing into UOL's hands with bigger forwards.
Yes, now what we're seeing here, Ted, we're seeing a penalty and a scrum, yes?
Just a scrum, knock on in the breakdown, no penalty play right there. I don't believe there was a high tackle. It would have been odd if it was a penalty and they asked for the scrum. Sure, they've been doing well in the scrums, but you would want to kick it out into touch and try and benefit from the maul that UOL have been doing so well.
Absolutely. Now, it looks like UOL have really got their line sorted behind. Do we think they're going to try and use possession to run, or do you think they will kick this out to touch?
They'll definitely run this. The big up runners right there, like what the UOL 8 has just done, cutting in, gaining lots of metres right now, but a sloppy pass right there.
Again, and we see them lose a lot of yards as they're taken down well into their own area. Now, Ryan, this is looking pretty promising, isn't it?
Yeah, if DMU can get the ball back here, it's very quick. Should be very quick out to the wingers, and then maybe the fullback, who is currently deep, who will pick up this ball now, can then, unluckily, make a run forwards.
Now, that did, of course, go into touch, would you say?
Yes, and it came off a DMU player as well. The slippery ball has just given UOL a massive territory advantage right there. Loose play by the DMU fullback, but Armstrong. Yeah, this was sloppy play.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, that's meant that DMU had good territory around the UOL end. However, it's now square at the half.
We're just waiting for this line out to go.
Absolutely. What would we look for in a line out normally, Ted?
Seeing where their jumpers are placed, looking for the movement, and their maul set up as well, which is excellent on UOL's part. The DMU defence is just crumbling away. I wouldn't be surprised if there's an advantage soon for UOL for not challenging the maul.
Absolutely. Now that strong DMU line, however, is very clear to see. Almost straight onto that ball. It's good to see there. Now, Ryan, tell us what normally happens in a maul. What forms a maul?
So a maul is formed when both packs engage. So if DMU wanted, they could step off, which would be an advantage for them, to be fair, because then they can get around the sides. But a maul will be formed of, so the lifter will have, 2 lifters and the jumper will have been brought the jumper down, and then the ball would pass to the back, and once that is at the back, they can then push.
Now we just saw UOL running with some width there, however they were brought down just before getting right into DMU territory, wouldn't you say, Ted?
Absolutely, I'd say the UOL 12 sort of killed the chance there, but UOL's pack is just charging through the centre of the field, and DMU have been sucked in entirely. They're going to have to play this out wide if they want to score.
That was a big hit there from number 3, I think that was, of UOL, Kayla Mosher. Big hit there.
Absolutely, just showing the strength of the pack right now, and that their front up rugby is definitely benefiting right now.
Looks like DMU have good communication as UOL again try to go for the gap.
An excellent sidestep.
Number 7, Millie Coe breaks free, but DMU stays strong at the try line. This is all where it gets a bit interesting now, doesn't it?
Absolutely. You start thinking, do I take the professional foul and start the game to reset the defensive line, or do you chop them immediately?
Exactly. Very much squeaky bum time, as we like to say. Now, Ryan, if you're in this position, what would you be thinking about?
DMU players straight in the UOL faces, which then stops the attack, which now they're going out to the backs.
Absolutely, and they've got a massive overlap there, and I do believe that
it's
is
a try.
Try for UOL there. That was the number
8.
The number 8 of Jade Shakespeare scoring the UOL try.
It's a well-worked try there by UOL. From breakdown to breakdown, you could see it from their phase play that they've been making too many metres in DMU's mind, and they have to improve on that.
Hard-earned, very much so. Now, just for those who don't know, how many points is it for a try?
5 points.
And they now have an opportunity to kick a conversion, don't they?
Absolutely. 2 points to be added on right now.
Absolutely. Now, this looks like a pretty easy conversion. Would you like to tell us a little bit about how they work? Because, of course, depending on where you score the try, changes where you take the kick.
Absolutely. A bit different from other sports in the fact that you have to take the kick in line from where you scored. But
this should be a relatively straightforward kick there for the UOL kicker.
Absolutely.
Did we catch what number she was?
She is the number 9 and well taken as well.
The number 9 there of Shona Dixon it's the number 10 of Sophie King gets the conversion. DMU are now down 7-0.
Now, on the point of the UOL defence, when I was talking about the players we were looking forward to at the beginning of the game, they've closed down Goodleman and Carr very well, the 9 and 10 for DMU. They've had to play through the forwards a lot more and have played into UOL's hands right now.
Now hopefully we'll see that DMU have had a chance to take 2 minutes break and will be nice and fresh and ready to get onto the scoreboard, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. They're going to try and turn this ball back over, try and play the territory game, play in the right places, and just make sure that they don't do sloppy play like they have been doing in the UOL 22 when they have been in possession.
Absolutely, because that's what this game's come down to so far, hasn't it, Ryan? It's come down to a few silly mistakes because of the weather.
Yeah, there's a few silly mistakes going on, but then it's also about Leicester's pack. They're a very big unit compared to DMU's, which is struggling in straight-up defence.
Absolutely, and we see another instance there where UOL just seem to be able to run through the DMU players.
Maybe it's the tackle shape that the DMU players are taking, because unless they've been flying out and they've just left an open dogleg right there.
However, the UOL player is brought down, and again we see that familiar DMU strong line form up.
Yeah, but on the point of DMU giving up many metres, it might be the tackle shape.
And UOL do a strong run there, number 15, Lisa Leverone, and she's gone. Nobody can stop her straight between the posts.
Absolutely.
For another 5 points there. That takes UOL up to 12. Of course, they can hit for another 2 to make it 14-0. Very, very quick.
It was excellent individual skill right there by Leverone. Just a piece of magic right there to open up that line.
She sliced through the DMU defence like it was butter. Now hopefully we'll see another strong kick here from, of course, the number 10, Sophie King of UOL. It would be good to see DMU get some points on the board. Ryan, what do you think DMU's biggest priority is at the moment?
They need to start playing through the backs more. Currently they're just going through the forwards phases, playing 3 or 4 phases, and they're making a silly mistake to lose the ball. Maybe going through the backs a bit earlier might help them gain a few yards, and then hopefully in the corners maul like Leicester have been mauling.
Absolutely, and to put another 2 through, making it 14-0 to UOL. Now, of course, Ted, we've been talking about the weather quite a lot today, and that's because it makes a big impact. However, the rain seems to have stopped.
The rain might have stopped, but it doesn't stop the ground being wet and the pitch being slippery. It's going to be difficult for handling right now with how much forward play has been going on.
Oh, that was sloppy there. What will we see there? I've never seen that happen before.
So there was a miss kick, so it will be a scrum down for not travelling 10.
Absolutely. Lucy Carr there, the DMU number 10, unfortunately missing the ball as she goes to kick it. Well, nobody likes a missed opportunity like that, Ted, but this isn't a good start, is it?
No, but as a restart, that's very poor. You'd be looking to try and pin UOL back into the corners, trying to get as much territory as possible, and essentially she's granted them free 50 metres.
Absolutely. Now, Ryan, one of the things that we love about Varsity is the incredible strength of the support, and the stands really are filling up, aren't they?
Yeah, looks like UOL currently have more supporters here.
Absolutely.
But, quite a few DMU people said they'll come as this game goes on.
Absolutely, and you can hear them loud and clear as DMU again struggling as UOL slice through their defence. We're seeing great movement there. The number 9 of Shona Dixon handling the ball very well.
Absolutely. UOL's front up rugby has just been dominating this entire game. Almost all possession in favour of UOL right now, almost all the territory, and they just seem to be able to gain yards at will.
Absolutely, and this is worrying stuff for DMU. We're not that far into the game really, are we? We're around 20 minutes in?
Yeah, about that, and that is worrying for DMU because once again they've been sucked in short. UOL will hopefully try and play this ball out quickly. A bit of loose hands right there has slowed it straight back down again, but DMU need to reset their defensive lines far better around the ruck because they give too much space around the back.
Absolutely, although a very strong hit there from the number 7 Onadans again. Incredible hit. Now UOL again trying to use that width. And would you say that? No. Would you say that's a knock-on? Yes.
It's a knock-on by DMU though for the challenge in the air.
Oh really?
Yeah. So the ball flew up in the air. DMU went to challenge it, and they challenged it well. They'll just be disappointed they didn't get both hands on it.
Absolutely. Now we see a substitution. It's number 18. Amy Baker comes on for. Unfortunately, we can't see who she's replaced. But a good, hopefully fresh pair of legs in there to maybe change things up a little bit.
Maybe she was playing with a slight niggle and thought that she could continue playing on it, and the physios on the side have decided that it's not worth it anymore. But clearly this is more a strategic substitution than it is seeming a injury substitution.
Absolutely. Now as we see the scrum form up again, what we're looking here for is the movement of the number 9, is it, Ted, from UOL?
Absolutely. They'll be trying to marshal that ball towards the back, making sure the DMU 9 stays very far away and doesn't turn over their own ball. Absolutely.
Now, as the ball comes out, again, DMU having to deal with the width coming from UOL. Strong, quick passes coming out of that scrum. Now, what do you think we're going to see here from DMU, Ryan? Do you think we could see them starting to form that strong line and maybe learning a little bit more about how you're well attacking?
DMU's problem at the moment is they're not fanning out at rucks, so they've got a large amount of people in around the rucks, which is harder to defend, which is playing against UOL. So UOL are using their backs much better, which is aiding their play.
Absolutely. When we look at where the concentration of players are on the pitch, Ted, we see very much so that DMU's almost centred fully around that ruck, whereas UOL are able to really fan their backs out a lot more.
Absolutely. DMU are being caught ball watching right now. That's an excellent run by the UOL for Sutherland that was made right there. But they're all being caught around the breakdown, ball watching, and UOL are benefiting from that by gaining the easy metres out wide.
Absolutely, and one of the things that I see UOL doing quite well actually is they're getting their forwards round quick enough to then get the ball, and they're the ones, of course, who are able to punch through a lot better because they have that sort of broader shoulder and more weight behind them, really.
Absolutely. I mean, they're also making sure they run at a mismatch, so 8 on 10, props on centres.
Oh, as we see hands to the face there of number 5 from UOL. She pushes through. And of course, just to note, the mascots have joined us as well. I can see UOL's mascot, and of course we can see DMU's brand new mascot up in the stands.
It is a penalty advantage for UOL for knock-on. I would have thought that would have been hands in the ruck there.
There was a knock-on in the ruck by DMU who tried to get it out.
I think DMU are very lucky there.
As we see another substitution as number 16, Katrine Hughes, comes on. And again, difficult to see who's coming off. We'll see if we can spot them.
She's come on the front row.
Absolutely. And
I believe she's come on for number 2, Cara Wells.
No, that's UOL.
That's UOL, sorry.
Number 12, who has come off, Mary Trimmer. Now, looks like she's just got a few niggles on the knee, so hopefully she will be able to get on sooner rather than later.
She's been DMU's main attacking threat. DMU's centres have been the ones making most of the metres in the open field play, so this will definitely be a loss if she stays off permanently.
Absolutely. Now, I must say, looking at how UOL are playing, they really know what they're doing with balls. They look like they are very experienced and really know how to handle a good ball at the moment. Some good throws coming in, some good runs.
Absolutely. They've clearly planned their phase play. An excellent cut-out tackle there by Scornet there on the wing.
Of course, we're seeing that mismatch again as the big number 3 from UOL, Mosher, goes up against a couple of the DMU backs. It's just very interesting to see how they're playing football. Oh, and that's being called for.
We have an injury on the field right now, it seems.
Number 23 from DMU, Megan Dolman coming on to replace. Again, nobody seems to be very giving to want to come off. Everyone seems a little bit reluctant on the pitch. It looks like.
Well, the referee felt he saw something and waved on the physios.
However, 23 Dalman is coming on for the number 3 Peth Watkins. Lovely to see a good high five between the two, strong show of solidarity. That's what we love to see, that sort of team spirit amongst all the players. Because it's a game of rugby we all love, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's part of the culture in rugby, the team spirit you build around your mates at the club, and you try and build on the success on that specifically.
And again, we're seeing another scrum here. It's really interesting to see how this game is breaking down. Do we think DMU can make it back up, Ryan, or is this a 14 points too much?
Maybe if they start playing through their backs quicker, fan out more in rucks and go lower in the tackles, which is probably their main issue at the moment. If they can do all them quickly and adapt to this weather, then there could be 14 points, could go quickly.
Again, we're seeing some more sloppy play there, this time from UOL, however. I must say, Ted, it's very good to have a DMU rugby player with us in Ryan. Fantastic commentary and providing a really great insight, so thank you very much, Ryan, for coming along. And what are we seeing here now, Ted? It's another couple of phases as, again, UOL using their stronger players to try and push through our backs.
Absolutely, they're setting up their forward packs very well, but we've gone back for a penalty for offside by DMU at the last breakdown.
Very disappointing to see here. We really should be seeing DMU playing a lot cleaner. Nobody wins when you give away penalties.
No, and this will definitely not be helping. They look to be tapping and going right now, UOL, just setting up where all the players are meant to be.
Yeah, absolutely, and again we see that happen, and one of the larger players, number 3, Michaela Mosher, using her strength to really beat through the DMU defence, again making good yardage.
Absolutely, they're going to look to reverse the play, I think, UOL. You see the amount of space the UOL have here on the left, and you just have to think that there will definitely be a change soon. Either UOL will go around the corners and score another try, or DMU will need to cut them out soon.
Now, as we see a really strong run there from the number 7, I think that
is
was.
Isolated though, so we could see a turnover.
However, UOL very much got there quick enough to make sure that ball's not going anywhere. And again, choosing to pick and run rather than to use a bit of width. But they are making good yards.
Absolutely. The body positioning of some of the DMU players around the corners is very, very poor right now. They need to be getting lower, shoulders almost to the floor.
Absolutely. They are a whisker's hair currently away from the try line, although we did see a small mistake there from UOL and a
scrum for DMU.
Oh, that's very good. We'll want to see that. Now, what would you be expecting to come out of this scrum, Ryan? Do we think that DMU will take possession and try and kick to get it away, or maybe even move the ball a bit more forward? What can we expect?
So maybe with it being DMU ball, it will go straight towards the 10, who will then hopefully kick the yards, because being on their own try line, it really is not the greatest place to be to try and play phases.
Absolutely not. Now, we'd quite like to see a diagonal kick.
UOL have tried to turn this over, and they have.
That's unfortunate.
That's a try.
And that is a try there. We'll wait and see who that's from. I believe that is
the number 8.
The number 8, Jade Shakespeare, scores a try for UOL. Again, another 5 points on the board. However, this one, a lot more tricky to convert, won't it?
Absolutely. In the far corners, definitely going to need a lot of leg behind this to get this over the posts. But that was an excellent scrum by UOL. A full 8-man shove, got DMU off their own ball. DMU now just need to collect themselves, make sure that they follow the game plan that they set out originally, and go back to nearer the beginning of the game where they were making yards with good territory.
This is, of course, UOL kicker number 10, Sethi King. We've seen a good lot of leg from her already, so maybe she can get this over the posts for that 2-point conversion. Now, do remember, you can get in touch with us at D1FM on Twitter. If you've got any rugby questions for either my 2 experts, let me know on the Twitters and we'll get them asked. And she unfortunately fluffs that kick and misses the conversion, which leaves it at 19-0. UOL in the lead.
DMU are just taking slightly longer to get back to the halfway line, just making sure they all understand the game plan, making sure they know what they're doing, understand their own rules, but they do have to be careful. If they time waste too much, they will be a penalty for UOL.
Not only that, but of course, the less time they're playing, the less time they can score those precious points to get back that deficit. Now, hopefully, we've seen it happen before, we'll see it happen again. One hopes that in the second half, the DMU will come out stronger and be able to get those points back. Of course, 21 points isn't too bad, so 19, it's doable, it's manageable.
It is, and it was an interesting onside kick there by DMU, but they've got the knock-on advantage.
They do. Interesting how that was taken on, but of course the ref has called the knock-on, so we'll be seeing a scrum, won't we?
Absolutely.
I'm learning.
Yeah. But it was an interesting onside kick. Traditionally at this sort of time of the game, you would look to be kicking it deep into the corners, making sure you pin the opposition back on their own half and on their own try line. Whereas an onside kick you would traditionally do for trying to regain possession, which
again,
they did do, but they've been pushed off their own ball.
Take that scrum once more with the strong running of number 8, Shakespeare there. This isn't good. This is not good for DMU.
No, they've been counted on the scrum very well right now, and again, it looks like sloppy play, but it did go backwards, so it's play on still. DMU do need to clean up some of their mistakes right here, maybe clean up their body positions in the scrum right now, because they are really struggling.
Yeah, no, this is disappointing to see. Of course, however, DMU overall in Varsity on the first day have had a great day with victories in the cricket, for example. So hopefully the women's will really follow on from the great progress so far. However, again, UOL have that ball round the halfway line deep across the side. And again, using the running of strength to slice through that DMU defence.
Absolutely.
Now, Ryan, if you were the coach, what would you be saying to these players at half-time?
So maybe at rucks like this, try and get one or two people a little more over, so they can win a few more breakdowns, which I don't think they've won one yet. And then try and stop this ruck being counted, the scrums being counted, which the last 2 or 3 have. And then maybe a ruck like this, fan out more.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got to work on those mismatches as well, haven't they, Ted?
Absolutely. That's just making sure you partner up in the tackle, though. If you know you can't tackle the player alone, get your buddy next to you to help out in the tackle, make sure it gets completed. If you lose a few metres, fine, but you just need to make sure you don't give up the amount of metres that DMU have.
Exactly, and again, we've just seen another instance of that, of DMU giving up more and more yards, as they really do suffer from the run cutting through them. Of course, the crowd cheering so hard from both sides. It's really great to see such support from both UOL and DMU, although, as we must say, DMU need to cheer a little bit louder to will on the girls, because it's not looking great at the moment, but hopefully they'll turn it around. So Ted, tell us a little bit more about what we might expect from DMU towards the latter end of the second half. If they're still quite far behind, do we think they'll be taking more risks, or just trying to play sensible rugby?
At the moment, they'll definitely be trying to play sensible rugby. An excellent strip tackle right there from Scornet. Once again, her tackling has saved DMU from getting cut open around the corner.
Absolutely brilliant play there. It did look like she received a hand to the throat and is suffering slightly, so hopefully she won't be too injured and will continue to play on. Now, of course, we've seen another scrum, aren't we?
Yeah, DMU will be looking to win this one. They've been counted on their last 3. They need to make sure that they hold on to this possession, because these dead plays are very serious, and it looks like the backs don't have a lot of confidence either. Saying that, I've got that wrong. It's a UOL put-in.
Now, one thing that always frustrates me when I'm watching rugby and watching a scrum is how
that's
supposed
an excellent drive.
It is. The strength there from UOL is just unbelievable. And of course, the number 8 picks it up, tries to palm off DMU, and of course gets a good number of yards there. I'd say a good 10-12 yards. Again, UOL just look the stronger side.
Yeah, they've got some quality players in their lineup right now, and they're using them to their advantage as well. They know they've got the bigger players, and they are physically harder right now.
Massive overlap there as number 12 for UOL, Emily May, runs nice and hard. We'll see what happens. Oh, and it's a turnover. Number 14 for DMU, Scornet.
Ball's gone out
over.
It's gone out for a UOL line-out, but that was very greedy by Emily May right there. The 12 doesn't seem to like to pass out from her positioning, and that's been cutting off a lot of UOL's chances right now, is that one extra pass to just get round that corner.
I agree, she needs to get ahead in the game. Absolutely needs to get her ahead in the game. Now, looking at this, what might we see some more of?
UOL will be looking to maul this over with how well they've been doing.
And that they do.
Yeah, they're getting even the backs in right now, put the weight behind it, and they're over. It looks like it's held up though.
Absolutely. Of course, you can probably hear there across the stadium the chants of heave as is common ground at the rugby.
Absolutely. The fans are getting very into this. There's definitely a larger Leicester supporter base right now than DMU. But there's still plenty of vocal DMU fans out there right now trying to rally their team up and get out of this position. But even though stopping that try was excellent defence at the try line, this scrum UOL will look to dominate.
Absolutely, and we will almost certainly see another UOL try from this scrum, unfortunately, as again they push their way.
They're about to drive over the line.
And there's the try. That's another 5 points, taking UOL up to 24 points. Again, though, it will be difficult to convert.
I think this is Shakespeare's hat-trick right now, I believe. I believe she has now scored her hat-trick in the first half. So she's been the key player for UOL right now.
Absolutely. However, let's hope she has strength and depth, as of course we're not even finished with one half.
Yes, DMU will be looking to come back quickly. They'll be just not taking risks right now, just play their own game. The worst thing you can do in this position is to lose your sense of self and try something different when you don't need to. DMU right now have just been outclassed at the moment, and there's not a lot you can do about that but try and match them. So DMU just need to believe in themselves right now to come back from this rather large points deficit.
Absolutely. Now as we see the kicker, number 10, Sethi King, she unfortunately does not make that conversion. So again it stays at 19-0, and hello and welcome back. This is the varsity game here. DMU Women's versus UOL Women's as UOL number 20 runs and she scores a try. That's a try there for UOL number 20, Sarah Smart. That was another 5 points on the board, taking UOL to 29 and DMU to nothing. Again, a hard one to convert, Ted.
It is another hard one to convert, but Leicester have been excellent at the moment, trying to break round corners. They've changed up their game plan a bit and have sort of caught DMU napping in defence, which is a bit disappointing. You would think they would be coming out roaring to get back into this second half.
Absolutely. It's just a reminder, this is of course Demon FM. This is the varsity match of DMU Women's first versus UOL Women's seconds. We are at the lovely Welford Road. The lights are down, the atmosphere's high, the rain has stopped and the points are coming. It's 29-0 currently to UOL as the number 10, Sethi King, again shows us her good foot. However, she does not score the conversion, leaving it at 29-0. That's a big lead for DMU to try and overturn. That's 4 converted tries and a bit.
But even 4 converted tries wouldn't bring it back. That would still be 29-28.
Absolutely.
I mean, they've been punished for being sloppy in defence and being punished for when they did have the territory and possession, they didn't convert any of their opportunities.
Absolutely. Now you are joined by myself, Thom Chapman. My good friend Ross is going to be commentating for the men's later, but for the moment I've got Ted.
Hello.
And we've got an expert from DMU men's seconds, Ryan Minney. Hello, Ryan.
Hello, how are you doing?
Doing good, although of course I'd love to see some more points on the board. UOL again take possession deep in their own territory. Now, do we think, looking at DMU's defence, Ryan, if they've maybe changed things up a little bit, or is it still that familiar defence we were seeing from the first half?
They seem to fan out a bit more at the last couple of rucks, but they're still not tackling low enough to make it effective. They're just being bounced back off.
Now, remember, of course, if you have any questions for either of my two experts, then do tweet us in at Demon FM on the Twitters, and we'll try and get those answered for you. Now, Ted, I think we might see a bit more risk-taking from DMU, don't you? They've got such a large deficit that they really need to start taking those risks and big
turnover
plays.
ball.
Good turnover there by DMU, but yeah, they need to start just sort of, if they see a half gap, take the opportunity. Don't change the game plan too much, but always look for those half opportunities.
Absolutely, as the number 15 there of Laverone takes the ball well and gets a good few yards. However, it's still, of course, in UOL territory. This is certainly an interesting game to watch as we see, again, the slippery conditions making a difference. That's another knock-on, isn't it?
It is, but DMU have taken the ball and are playing the advantage, and they look to play it wide.
Absolutely, and of
But
course, what a
excellent
run.
line.
What a run there from number 16, Catherine Hughes. Brilliant job. Oh, sloppy knock-on there from number 6.
We are coming back for the advantage, though, for DMU scrum.
That is good to see now, of course. However, Ryan, DMU weren't looking too strong on the scrum. Do we think they might have sorted their problems in the short half-time we had, or do you think we might just see another repeat of what we had earlier?
I'm not sure that they've changed any personnel out there, so it might be a repeat. But then it looks like UOL are changing 3 of their most effective players.
Absolutely. As 17, 19 and 16 come on, that's Hoffman, Howe and Krzyzewska. 10, 5 and 8 leave the pitch, so that's King, Dudson and Shakespeare, all of whom were playing some great rugby earlier, leave the pitch. Do we think fresh legs, or what might be the reasoning behind that, a change so early on?
You cannot know right now, but that was poor by the DMU scrum, trying to win it too quickly. But they get the penalty.
Yep, another knock-on.
Another knock-on there from UOL. Again, they've got to tidy up the play, don't they?
No, it's a penalty awarded for not releasing by UOL, and DMU look to be tapping and going, trying to make sure they can benefit from this possession right now, because they definitely need a opportunity to get back into this game.
Absolutely. Good yards being made there by number 8, Gauderman, pushing towards the UOL 22.
Yes.
Absolutely. See, I'm learning the little technical picks there, everybody. Don't you worry.
Another loose ball.
They've got to play smarter rugby than this. Absolutely. Now, as we see another run from the width there from UOL, what can DMU do to stop this, Ryan? Is there anything they can do? Again, we've talked about... Another knock-on there. That may be the answer, might it? It might just be UOL playing sloppily, which will help give DMU the advantage.
They need to take advantage of when there's these silly little knock-ons from UOL, but currently DMU keep replacing them by doing silly mistakes themselves. So maybe at this scrum they can take it a bit slower.
Absolutely, as number 20 comes on for DMU to replace number 11, so that's Tyler coming on to replace Flatley. Hopefully some fresh legs will be able to give DMU the slight advantage, but we're not sure, as again we see another scrum. Maybe they'll repeat the same mistakes, maybe not. Tell us, Ted, what are you thinking at the moment in terms of DMU's strengths? Let's focus on the strengths.
Their strengths have definitely been their back play so far, which
Absolutely
they haven't been able to use so much.
However, we've just seen number 7 for DMU. She's isolated, but she did get some good yards. She's deep into the 22 of UOL. Again, pushing. We're hoping to get some first points on the board for DMU. Now, Ryan, this is very, very promising, isn't it? What do we want to see happening from DMU at the moment?
So maybe a few more phases to get them into the 5-yard line. So I think that's not rolling away.
Penalty for hands in the ruck right there.
Tap and go quickly.
Absolutely, but they're not formed up. They've not made the most of that advantage.
They're still going round the corner.
She's in the corner. She's round to the edges as we see the ball move. Just moved into touch there for DMU. So who will be taking that?
It will be a UOL line out, I'm afraid. But that chance just goes begging. You just think that if they were a bit more clinical, a bit more set up at that tap and go, they could have scored that try. But excellent defence from UOL as well to cut it out quickly.
Ryan, DMU haven't had many scoring opportunities at the moment, so they really need to capitalise on them. What will the players be thinking at the moment?
So Leicester will more than likely maul it to draw all the DMU forwards in, which will then give it advantage for UOL to kick the ball away. So maybe if DMU step back off the ball.
And DMU have possession of the ball. Hopefully they can really use this advantage that they have here. Again, pushing down towards the wings, using that width. They now need to play more towards the centre, don't they, Ted?
Absolutely. Try and get that ball across.
Absolutely.
Excellent
offload. Play there. She's moving towards and she's got support. She's got support. We're seeing DMU right towards deep in the 22. Right near that try line at the moment, aren't we, Ted?
Absolutely. They now just need to make sure they get their phase plays right and just make sure they don't do anything too sloppy.
Like that. Luckily, DMU managed to get on the ball, but they have moved back. We want to see them gaining yards, not losing yards, don't we, Ryan? What would you be thinking here if you were in this situation?
So maybe they need to play a few more breakdowns into the 5-yard area, and then ship it out across to their backs. But however, they don't look like they're doing that because they're so narrow still, which has not really changed.
Absolutely, they don't seem to have the same shape that the UOL women are able to have. And again, we see another sloppy play as the ball comes loose. However, number 14 has the ball again. She tries to get it to her friend. She gets it to number 10. DMU close to the try line once more. They really need to capitalise this on number 2. Day takes the ball again. She's pushing. Have we seen a maul form?
This would definitely be classed as a maul. It's been stood up and it's been collapsed, but it's advantage for collapsing the maul, it seems.
Absolutely, as we see DMU take the ball again.
Excellent mismatch.
She's going, she's pushing. She's got support here. This is brilliant to see a real attacking play here from DMU, as again the number 7 takes the ball. Downs is doing an incredible job. They're pushing, they're so close to that try line. Could this be DMU's opportunity?
Well, they've got a massive overlap on the left if they know how to use it. Just a few passes out.
Again, scrappy play.
Back to the advantage.
Yeah. Penalty awarded to DMU for collapsing the maul right there.
So if they're playing tap and go, then
again, she's playing tap and go.
She's gone backwards.
Wasted the ball again. However,
still in DMU hands.
Absolutely. That's a messy ruck. Have we seen a turnover of possession there?
Hands in the ruck again.
And that is, of course, whose fault's that?
UOL hands in the ruck, so it's a penalty to DMU again.
Hopefully this time they have formed up a bit more, though. Number 6 takes the ball. She's very quickly taken down. Can DMU form up behind her? Again, they need to see that fanning shape, don't we?
Absolutely. Try and form some lines up. Excellent sneak there, almost getting over.
They are a whisker's hair away from the UOL try line as number 2 pushes forward. This could be their opportunity, Ryan, couldn't it?
But they're still not really fanned out. It's only really the forwards that are doing it, and
as
his turnover.
Very disappointing there. As whip is used there from number 15 of UOL, who's brought down.
Excellent tackle.
And DMU have repossessed the ball there. Brilliant to see. As number 6 takes it just inside of the UOL half, and the ref has blown on the play. What might the ref be blowing for there, Ted?
I don't know. Clearly the linesman has told him something.
He's waiting. We can see he's going to be told something through his little earpiece. And tell us exactly, do you know what those hand signals mean?
So he's just stopped the clock, making sure that whatever's being checked is done correctly, so no play will be lost. As rugby doesn't have an extra time added minutes as football does, we just play the clock from going dead. The clock will stop like it is right now. I believe we do have a fourth official today in the stadium, and I believe it's the fourth official who's checking a potential penalty right now or a try opportunity, because DMU were celebrating when the two, Georgia Day was almost at the line.
Absolutely.
Maybe they're just checking that if the ball did touch the whitewash, it is a try, and then it will be 5 points for DMU.
Which would be fantastic. Now, as of course we wait for the decision to come through, the men have joined us, haven't they? The UOL men's have just started running around the pitch, warming up. They'll definitely need to warm up quite well. It's a chilly day today, isn't it, Ryan?
Still is, yeah.
And so what sort of things do you go through in a warm-up?
So I imagine both teams will have had a increased warm-up earlier in the day, because I know the DMU men have. So they've been together all day, and then about 3 o'clock they did a prep set of warm-ups, which is just opening up the vessels to start with. And then about 4 o'clock they went through a bit of a heavier warm-up over at Beaumont Park, and then they did a few team runs, and then so now they should really just need to re-warm up as the muscles will all be stretched. But I imagine they'll go through a few phases, a couple of line-outs, and then just keep warm, which is probably the main aim.
Now you're close within DMU Rugby. What's the spirit like in the men's team at the moment? Are they feeling good? Are they feeling strong? Tell us how they're feeling.
So over the last month, so the second team have come up with us as well, which is doing well, and then the first team, they're in the cup final in a couple of weeks, and then next week they need to win to stay up, which they did last week currently. So it's on the upwards turn at the moment. So about a month ago it was a bit of doom and gloom, but now it's all looking forward to Varsity tonight.
Absolutely, and hopefully we can see a nice strong performance, can't we, Ted? As the ref still waits. Here, I saw he was having words with the number 1 of UOL, Izzy Butcher, their captain.
I mean, captains will always talk refs' ears off, though. They'll just be complaining about what they think happened.
Scrum down.
Yes, he seems to be calling for a scrum.
DMU ball, I believe.
Very interesting. And we really need to see what it was. He's called for...
so it will be a scrum down to DMU. The clock's just been turned back on. An interesting stoppage in play. We're sorry that we can't actually tell you what that stoppage in play was for, because we don't have a connection to the refs at all. That ball's come loose on the outside, though, of the scrum.
However, the ref has blown. I think DMU collapsed the scrum, was it? Or was it UOL that collapsed the scrum?
No, straight through the tunnel. He's claiming there was no hook at the ball.
Always bugs me that when the ball's put in not straight. It's one of those key things, you have to put the ball in straight, but never really is it?
Well, the rules have actually changed on that.
Showing my age.
What used to be the initial having to feed the ball in straight changed with the new rules, where now the only thing that needs to be done is the hooker striking the ball. It just has to go into the tunnel, and the hooker just needs to strike the ball now. So, whereas back when we had a full engagement, it had to go down the middle in case you wanted to drive over it. You can't do that anymore, and that's why you can feed it essentially straight to the hooker's foot.
Absolutely. Now, of course, UOL slight knock on there, but DMU do take possession, and we see DMU again trying to use a bit more width, but they seem to be crowding that ball once more.
They are. We keep talking about how good their backs are, but the forwards just seem to be absorbing all the ball possible. That was an excellent tackle, though, by UOL to put it back into that mess.
Again, we see a kick there from the number 10 as the 15 of UOL again tries to take the ball. She jumps up. This is very interesting here. Leicester take possession of the ball, again using that width. We do have a player down, so we may see a stoppage.
This player has been stopped.
There we go. That is one of the DMU players are down at the moment. Hopefully she's well. We wish her all the best. And we might be seeing a substitution in just a second. But UOL looking very happy, looking very confident, aren't they?
Yep, I mean, definitely when you come off of the first half where somebody has scored a hat-trick, you're, I believe, 6 tries up now, UOL are. So you can't really lack confidence, but they will have to definitely try not to turn off.
Absolutely.
But definitely cut out sloppy mistakes.
Yes, good to see the DMU player get themselves up there. Now, Ryan, if you're on the pitch right now, if you're in this game, in this situation, what would be going through your mind?
So it'd be go back to basics really, which would be play through the phases, talk more comms between the 9 and 10 to each other, and then we'd be going through our strike moves. So for the twos, we'd be talking at every breakdown when we can, talk to each other, and then we'd set up, as we have been all season, just to try and break the line as much as we can, and then set up for the next phase, and then play recycle ball, and then maybe at this point we'd be trying to kick it out for territory gains.
Absolutely. Again, we see that strong
early drive though.
Yeah, and they can't be doing that. So will that be
only a free kick? So whereas they can still tap and go, but if they kicked it out of play, it would be a turnover in possession. It was a kick into open field though, and UOL are running down the line.
Absolutely. Number 20 is running strong. She's pulled out into touch though. Very strong running there from the number 20 of UOL. Sarah Smart. Very smart play there. Now, Ryan, do you play any other sports? Did you used to play any other sports, or was rugby your only sport?
I've always played football and cricket as well.
Now, we've had a tweet in from Jack. Jack's a first-time rugby listener, and he wants to know what the key differences are between rugby and every other sport. You know, things like how does the ref communicate? You know, he's listening and realising that we're not talking the ear off the ref like they do in football. So could you just talk us through a few of the differences between rugby and other sports, and what makes rugby so special?
So maybe compared to football, it's really only the captains that are allowed to talk to refs in rugby. And then maybe the 15 players, it's much more contacted. And then, so in cricket, it's just the umpire. So there's not as much talking between umpires and players there.
As number 4 from UOL breaks free, she's nearing the 22 of DMU. We've had another tweet in from Kyle. Kyle's asked, he's a league fan and it's his first time listening to Union. Can you explain the difference between league and Union?
So Union's a lot more physical, but a bit more slower, so it's a lot more of a forwards game. So Union, they try and ship it out to the backs a lot quicker, and scrums and the forwards aren't as important.
That's very, very interesting, and of course, great experience at the moment. If you come down to Welford Road, you can of course watch as number 20
excellent
takes it.
wide out.
Good. That is a very, very smart play there from number 20, Sarah Smart. As UOL are right by the DMU try line as they pass to number 4. She's close.
Dropped it.
Oh, and she's dropped it. Is that a knock on there?
The referee.
The referee's not.
He has awarded the advantage.
DMU put in for a knock on.
Absolutely. Oh, squeaky bum time, boys, that was. I must say, it's good to see that DMU are capitalising on those mistakes.
Well, they definitely needed to try and close that down. Smart caught a bit try line watching.
Really.
Had 2 players on her outside. Should have probably offloaded it to let her fellow teammates score an easy try.
Absolutely. As we see the try push forward, DMU take possession of the ball, but they are pulled out to touch, so it will be a DMU play there. This is going to be very interesting, isn't it? Now, Ryan, what would you do if you're in this situation? You've got a thrown right from down deep into your territory. What would you be looking to see DMU do right now?
So with it, is it a DMU put in?
It is.
So being a DMU throw in or line out, it'd be straight up and then off the top of the line out into the 9 or 10, who would hopefully get rid of it so we can gain some yards up the pitch.
Now it looks like, I'm not quite sure. Yes, no, it is a line out as the DMU number 2, Georgia Day, throws it. We'll see what happens. Now there's all sorts of different calls during a line out, isn't there, Ryan? Yeah. What sort of calls do you think there are going on in the team at the moment? Anything interesting?
So this looks like a simple person up at the front and then catch and win it, which was done by UOL.
Yes, UOL number 4 takes possession. Again, UOL fan themselves out once more as the number 19 takes it. She throws it to number 12, who pushes deep into the territory. However, she is stopped by the DMU defence. Again, that ball breaks down and we're seeing number 19 take it.
Overlap.
She's using the width. She's pushing hard towards that try line. Again, we'll see that typical UOL line form up again, and they'll use that width or try and push through. This is very much a time for DMU's defence to hold stead and keep them out. They can do it. They've done it before. They can do it again.
Their guard positions are too high.
As we see a squeak through and another try there for UOL. That takes the total to 34-0. Again, difficult one to convert. We'll see if the cooker, Sethi King, will be able to take that or not. It's not looking good for DMU, I must say. It's a bit of a battering, just like the game of rugby itself. But hopefully we'll at least see a try to make up for it somewhere along the lines. Go ahead.
I think that DMU right now are just struggling with the basics right now. They're getting caught up too much in the forward game, which UOL are dominating. They're playing into UOL's hands too much. UOL, when they defend, have a static line, and they run at that static line in 1s and 2s, which benefits UOL more than it does DMU. Possibly they haven't used their 9 and 10 combination at all, where in previous games I've watched, that combination has been deadly to most teams and has opened up the field a lot. And when they have connected in this game, they've been able to get out wide and perform very well.
Absolutely, yes. The kicker, there. Number 14 of Wilkinson, who took the kick, actually. Unfortunately, she misses it. But it's like that old school chant, isn't it, Ryan? We need to see DMU get back to their fundamentals. If you were the coach right now, what would you be saying to the girls?
Go back to basics still. So in the rucks, they need to start playing wider away from them, so there's not the cluster of players which are around the rucks, which DMU are struggling with still.
Now I think we are seeing a substitution at the moment, as the number 21 for DMU looks to be coming on and replacing one of DMU's other players. Again, the number 21 of Danya Bari coming on. We'll see who it is that she is replacing. But of course, strong game so far. There's a limping off almost. She's very injured. Hopefully we wish the number 23 of Dolman to get better soon. But hopefully again some fresh legs will liven things up a little bit. As DMU, I think at this point it's more of a case of getting some points on the board at least, so they don't look like they've just had a complete shutout. Don't you think there, Ted?
Absolutely. I mean, some of their performances have been quite good, and then other times in this game they'll start slipping off tackles, their body positioning's incorrect, they'll get sucked in far too easily, and possibly the one problem now for DMU is that they will have known they've lost the game now.
Absolutely.
And their heads will have dropped, and that's the worst thing to do, because then it will become an absolute shutout.
Absolutely, as we're seeing, UOL players able to run through 2, 3, 4 DMU players even, as they again continue on as the number 21 takes it. She's pulled down just over the halfway line. Again, getting in the way there. They must be careful. DMU can't be sloppy. They can't give away any more silly penalties as number 16 breaks free. She's running.
Clean break, but it's very isolated.
She is, but she's brought down just inside the DMU 22. But UOL retain possession, unfortunately.
Just needs to go out wide, and then UOL will score. It will be an easy score.
Absolutely. We see them using that width, but DMU seems to be moving, of course. However, it's
into the corner.
No. Has the referee called it? He has. That is another UOL try. 39-0. It's a bloodbath here. It's a repeat of the Battle of Bosworth here. It's awful, but we'll see what happens. Again, it'll be a difficult conversion. UOL not been too strong with their conversions so far, have they, Ryan? But it's tricky kicking conditions.
Yeah, but you'd hopefully think that with these extra conversions, they'd have started to score a few more. Absolutely,
we could be seeing UOL around the 50 mark for the amount of conversions they've missed, but instead they're sat at around the 40s. Another injured DMU player there on the pitch. This is not good for UOL, unfortunately. It's awful. But we're not giving up, are we?
Oh, absolutely not. DMU will try and persevere through this game. They'll definitely try and bring themselves back into it. The worst thing they could do is let themselves drop their heads and lose confidence in themselves, and essentially let UOL walk all over them. Whereas if they perform an admirable performance, they won't regret what they did during the game.
Now, Ryan, one of the things that we'd love to point out actually is that, of course, we are playing at one of the most hallowed turfs in British rugby, Welford Road, the home of the Leicester Tigers. of course, English Premier League's most successful rugby team ever. Now, the kicking conditions haven't been ideal. Is this something a little bit different? Do you think the women are suffering a little bit here from the bright lights of the stadium, the fact that this is such an incredible venue to play rugby? Is that why we might be seeing the kicking not to the level we'd normally see it at, or is it just the conditions?
It might be a bit of both, really, as it's still quite windy. So in and around the open corners of the stadium would make it windy, and then maybe the kicks are just a bit too far out sometimes as well.
Now, one of the things we noticed earlier, Ted, is there are actually representatives here from East Midlands Rugby, isn't there?
Yes, I mean, all these young ladies right now are the future. What the Midlands RFU will see as the future of women's rugby. Women's rugby is definitely on the up right now in England, with being the first league to professionalise the women's league.
Absolutely, and the England women's rugby team are one of the best in the world, aren't they?
I believe they won the previous World Cup.
Yes.
Ooh, that was a very close interception.
As number 20 there takes the ball. She's off.
Clean through. Nobody's going to catch her.
Absolutely not. That's an incredible try from 20 there. Interestingly, she doesn't try and make it easy for a kicker. Do you think they've just given up now and they just want to get 5 points? They don't really care about the 2 anymore?
I think UOL will look at it and go, we're scoring plenty of tries, let's all get in on the action.
Absolutely.
DMU very unlucky there. That came from loose play. They almost got the interception, and then just a boot through just went straight into the number 20's chest. Very unlucky.
No, but we must say, again, incredible intelligence there from number 20, Sarah Smart. And as we were saying, women's rugby, it's on the up and up. What we could be seeing here is the future of English women's rugby, especially from this UOL side. You know, we could have future World Cup winners here, really, couldn't we, Ryan?
So yeah, maybe East Midlands are here to scout a few players out from both sides who could possibly go on to the England performance pathways.
Absolutely. University rugby is the cutting edge of rugby at the moment, isn't it, Ted?
Absolutely. Bunch of formulated leagues that have definitely improved the standard of rugby at university level. They've also improved the level of women's and men's rugby to a great extent, and it's meant there's been a greater pool of English players for the professional leagues.
Exactly, and I don't know about you both, and I think I know the answer, however, but as somebody who started playing rugby at the age of 4, you know, I feel like rugby is a sport that's kind of deep in the blood of the British heart, would you say?
Absolutely. I think it's definitely part of the culture. It's definitely a community thing. Everyone gets together to watch their team play. It definitely isn't as big as football, but it's very much a community-based spirit. Everyone gets together and supports their local team.
Absolutely. I have very, very fond memories of going along on a Sunday morning and getting nice and muddy at the local rugby pitch, playing rugby with my good friends. Similar experiences, Ryan?
Of course.
Absolutely. It's so good to see that rugby really is at the heart of British sport, and of course we've got the Six Nations going on at the moment, don't we?
Absolutely. Wales look set to win that at the moment.
We won't talk about the Welsh. But of course we'll get back to why we're here, which is of course the Varsity women's rugby, as DMU again seem to be struggling. UOL have such good possession. It
is a maul though, and it looks like DMU have wrapped it up. Actually excellent from UOL to get that ball back from what was a dead maul.
Yes, the number 9, Shona Dixon, incredible player. Now, Ted, we're getting towards the end of the game, aren't we?
Yes, we are. UOL will be looking to close it out, but sloppy passes like that went almost 20 metres back.
Exactly. They don't want to be losing yards like that. And if I were to push you, who would you be saying at the moment would be your woman of the match?
My woman of the match definitely has to go to number 15, Leverone. She's been all over the place on this pitch. Shakespeare definitely comes close with her full team performance. But
and of course, the number 20 of Sarah Smart, she's really pulled out of the bag towards the end, hasn't she?
Absolutely. She's come on as a finisher and has stepped up to the plate very well. But
go on.
But Leverone just wins it for me just from the clinical play she's done, opening up the field, and the tries she has scored are very good.
Again, as we comment this, the men's rugby team have joined us. We now have UOL away in the left-hand corner warming up, and the men's rugby team, resplendent in their gorgeous red and black, have joined us. Now, Ryan, I'm going to push you for an answer as well. If you had to call for a woman of the match, who would you be saying at the moment?
So maybe number 8 for UOL, Jade Shakespeare, or maybe their captain is a butcher who's made quite a few yards. She has, and they've just been on fire, really, haven't you, UOL? Yeah, they've been more clinical. They've cut up the mistakes quickly. Their pack's obviously a lot stronger, which is helping break the game line a lot more. And then they're capitalising on loose balls at the ruck quicker. Absolutely, it's been definitely a game of two halves here. I think DMU looks a lot stronger in that initial section of the second half. However, UOL just walked all over the place. In fact, you could even say UOL, they've been in another league, haven't they? Absolutely. Their performance has just completely outclassed DMU right now. DMU have clearly let their heads drop. The competition at the rucks is completely gone. Body shape is all off. Their tackling positions have gotten worse this half. Their heart's just not in it anymore. Yeah. It's clear to see. It's disappointing. Yeah, it is disappointing. It's hard to continue on. I understand what they're feeling right now. Sometimes you just come across very good opposition where Smart right now has just cut through the entire defence and has gotten into DMU 22. She really is having some very clever plays at the moment, is Smart. But of course, it's disappointing to see. You might even say this is hard to watch, wouldn't you, Ryan? It's been a bit disappointing from a DMU point of view. It started off quite well in the second half as well, when it was only 24 points down, when they were in their 5 yards, but they weren't clinical enough, which was UOL's main advantage. Yep, UOL have just been clinical in how they have conducted themselves. Stayers again, they pushed through, and again another try, insult to injury there, 49-0 from UOL. At what point did the mercy rules kick in, Ted? At this level, mercy rules don't kick in, so arguably, if the game had a lot longer... It was a joke. Have you heard of a joke before? No. They obviously don't have those down under. Now the game will be coming to a close soon, of course, Ryan. What do you think the coach will be saying at the final whistle? Head up and keep pushing for promotion like they are. Absolutely. How many games does the women's team have left of the season? I'm not sure, maybe 2 or 3? Let's hope they finish strong and maybe even for the rest of the game try and get some points on the board, even if it is just, of course, a kick. I'd love to see a drop goal even. We don't want to see a scoreboard on nothing. 49-0 at the moment. It's a very telling scoreboard, and of course it could be a lot closer with those conversions, which UOL again not able to get. Kicking has been positively sloppy today. Of course, we all know if DMU were converting, they would be. DMU would of course be getting those kicks free, wouldn't they, Ryan? Of course they would be. Absolutely. We can at least pretend. This is, of course, all being streamed to you live on Demon FM. If you have any questions for myself, for my 2 fantastic experts, or for our fantastic colleagues for the men's later, then do tweet us in at Demon FM. We will get those answered for you. And, of course, stay tuned because the men will be playing later, won't they, Ted? Absolutely. You can join Ross and myself along with other experts. Ryan, I was going to say, Ryan, you're sticking along for the men, aren't you? I am. Absolutely. That'd be fantastic to see. And, Ryan, have we got higher hopes for the men? Yeah, certainly. Well, there's a lot of positivity around the teams, a lot of togetherness lately, and it's a feeling of that this year is the year that we could win first team varsity again. I remember 2 years ago I was here, absolutely heartbreaking defeat, DMU winning the entire game, and then the final play of the final minutes, UOL scores a try. It was absolutely heartbreaking to watch, so hopefully we won't have a repeat of that. Now, you've been in the camp. Do you think morale will be affected by this devastating loss for the men? Do you think the men's morale will be affected by this? Or? Honestly, I don't think the men have paid much attention to this game. I think partly was to keep warm under the stands, and then partly so that they can... There's a line right there. And then so partly that other results don't affect them. Yeah, absolutely. You know, we've had a couple more tweets in. We've had one in from Jess saying how disappointed she is in the women's team. She would have hoped that we could have kept our heads up longer. And credit where credit's due, though. The women have still played a stonker from DMU. This is not an easy game. It's not been easy conditions. Of course, as we started the game, again more sloppy play there and knock on from DMU. Because as we started the game, it was very, very rainy, which has made for some turbulent conditions. You can see how muddy it is down there, can't you, Ryan? So yeah, it's just going to keep getting muddier and muddier with the larger packs of the men.
Absolutely. Hopefully that won't affect the game too much. Are the men used to playing in more rainy conditions?
Up till this year, we played on some terrible pitches over at Ayleston St James, whereas this year we're over at Beaumont and LFE with better pitches, so 4G pitches.
Do you think that could affect the men's performance today, actually, if there is more sort of a wet, muddy feel to the ground?
To be honest, no, as everyone's grown up playing rugby on wet, muddy, poor pitches.
That's good to hear. That is good to hear. Now, we must, of course, be into the final dying minutes of the game, mustn't we, Ted?
Yeah, I mean, we're just having a little injury stoppage right now.
She won't want to come off, though. She'll want to see the end of the game. She'll want to see the final whistle, as we have another scrum, and this time it is a...
UOL put-in.
Yes, UOL put-in. Thank you, Ted. I'm not wearing my glasses, so I can't quite see. This has been an absolutely fantastic time, though, haven't we? We've really quite enjoyed this, even if we are losing so horrendously. Loved having all of your tweets. Again, do remember you can get in touch with us at DMFM on the Twitters, and stay tuned for the men's rugby. Hopefully that will be a different story, as again, UOL looking very strong on that try, take possession, and the run comes again. She hands the ball off, however they do lose it, yet it's come back. And again, they're stalling almost, but no, she gets across the halfway line, doesn't she?
Absolutely. I have to point out, for DMU, there's been one admirable performer in Scornet, the number 14.
Absolutely.
Where, as the game's gone on, she's been all over this pitch, making loads of tackles and trying to fill in the gaps where people aren't. Like just then, that was an excellent tackle right there.
Absolutely. She's my DMU Women's Woman of the Match. Incredible Fanny Scornet. Just brilliant there. And as we see another breakdown, again we'll be having another scrum, won't we?
Absolutely. DMU put in this time. Hopefully it will be more secure for DMU. I mean, both packs will be tiring by now, and it will just be try and be clinical right now and try and get some points on the board.
Absolutely. You can hear the atmosphere inside Welford Road at the moment, can't you, Ryan? It's absolutely buzzing. The stadium is alive. But of course we would love to see some more support for our team. We'd love to see some more support for the DMU guys. So if you are at home and you're listening, do come along, make sure you've got your tickets, and we'd love to see you at Welford Road. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, if you ask me, to watch some of the future of British rugby, hopefully, as we see a knock-on there. It'll be interesting to see what the ref does with this, as UOL... He's played the advantage, hasn't he?
Yes, played the advantage. UOL turned it over immediately, so he'll let play go on for a while.
As Lavarone again, incredible play. She cuts through the players, twisting and weaving. At this point, Ryan, if you were on the DMU team, you'd just be counting the seconds down, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but there may be another opportunity for them to get up the field and maybe put a consolation try down.
That would be nice. We would love to see that, and you know what? We'd love to see it converted as well, because the kicking today has been atrocious, as number 17 practically walks over the DMU opposition.
That was almost a turnover.
Oh, absolutely. But again, UOL able to manage it in the breakdown. They're looking tired, though. They are looking tired, as 11 is pulled out of touch by DMU. So, of course, this will be a DMU
line out.
Yes. Thank you for finishing my sentence, sir.
You are very welcome.
It's been a tough game to watch, I must say, and a tough game to commentate, but the crowd has not stopped cheering. And that's what Varsity is about, ladies and gentlemen. Varsity is about cheering on your squad, no matter what the score is. DMU, we support you. You know, the UOL team have been very strong, and as have the UOL supporters, but all I can hear through my headphones is, of course, the DMU guys. Absolutely brilliant support. And hopefully that continues off through the rest of Varsity, as again, UOL have possession deep in the 22 as the number 2 takes the ball. Although, yes, it's thrown onto number 19 and she takes it over. However, DMU again getting that line nice and ready. They're still looking pretty smart, but again, DMU not dealing with that
excellent line, but an excellent tackle as well.
Oh, absolutely brilliant there as number 9 takes it on. She looks to have found a gap. It's all happening over in that far right-hand corner. We've seen a turnover as DMU take possession of the ball deep in their own territory. Well. Hopefully we can make use of that again. The ball has come loose and the ref has called for a knock-on. Absolutely
full time.
And there is the final whistle. That was a battle of attrition, but the final score, unfortunately, University of Leicester 49, Montfort University 0. Again, Ted,